Hello, everyone. How's it going? I'm making this video for people that work at the Calgary Language Nerds and also people who are going through some training at the Calgary Language Nerds. I think I'm going to post this on YouTube as well. And so, hello, YouTube people. If you're new to my videos, hello, my name is Azren. I'm a polyglot. I speak 5 different languages, and I am working on a really cool project, a guaranteed fluency project. I would love to offer lessons that actually guarantee that someone reaches fluency in a reasonable period of time. So what I want to show you now, I'm going to share my screen in like 2 seconds. I want to show you how far we've come in this project so far. A lot of what I'm showing you is just drafts and things that we've developed, and they're still in development. So let's dive right in. There's 3 big things I want to show you. The first one is assessment, okay, and defining fluency. So I think I'm the first person who has defined fluency using numbers. Like I've taken numbers to define fluency. It's not vague anymore. It's very specific. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different categories, actually 7, but one's not on the screen. Comprehension rate is how fast can people talk and you understand. Speech rate is how fast do you talk and how fluently do you talk. Grammar accuracy is how accurate is your speech. Grammar tenses, how many tenses do you use. Translation reliance is how often do you need Google Translate. Vocabulary size is how many word families do you know. Careful, it's not individual words, it's word families, which is a very important distinction. So we actually track all this. So we have an assessment process that we use to track all of these different things. This is literally the form that we would send someone after their assessment is done. So we write down the scores, write down any notes specific to each category. Now you might be wondering, Azren, how do you assess all this? Well, most of it is assessed through this particular form that we use. Now, what I'm about to say is going to blow your mind, and you're going to think it's probably impossible. You'll say, Azren, there's no way that's possible. No way you can do this. Well, let me walk you through it. We have a conversation. So me and you are in a conversation. And as you talk, we actually track manually the number of words you say, the number of mistakes you say, and the number of words you need to get translated. We actually track those. And we track the tenses we hear you use. If you're learning a language with grammatical cases like German or Russian or Ukrainian, something like that, any case-based language, we also would have a column for cases, like how many cases did we hear? That's something we're still testing out. We're still testing out and playing around with. It takes a ton of practice, we've been finding, to be able to keep up with people's speech rate. So for example, I'll demonstrate this. Let's say I'm talking in English. Hi, my name is Azren, and I live in Canada. I really like it here because it's a great country and my favorite people all live here. So as we're talking, we'd actually track it manually. Now, every mistake gets added into a mistake column. Every translation gets added into here. We do find that for certain levels, like especially if you're more advanced, you just talk too fast for us to keep up. Like we can't catch it all. In those situations, we refer to recordings. So we have a conversation, we record it, and then we review the recording and then fill this form out by reviewing the recording. But beginners, you guys talk really slow. Even intermediate speakers, you talk really slow. It's pretty darn easy to just do this on the fly. Take some practice, frankly. Like every single tutor I've shown this to, every single one is always like, oh my God, this is so hard. And so like, my brain is like being stretched in ways that I've never thought possible. It's like, yep, I get it. Because I also felt that way when I was developing this. Now, teaching procedure, this is kind of the last thing I want to cover, is a draft, as you can see. We have 3 different class formats we've been playing with. Remember, the goal that we have is to guarantee fluency. So we have to systematize it and say, look, here are the different types of class formats that we have. And depending on your needs, we're going to use XYZ class formats. And what I would like to get is data. We know that if you use this class format, this will go up at this rate. That's what we're trying to develop. So we have a number of conversation class formats. So there's free-flowing conversational classes. There's topic-based conversational classes. We've developed something called super simple scripts. It's kind of like a semi-scripted conversation that's really good for beginners and gets them going into conversation super fast from day one. We have a second class format, which is more around grammar, looking at some grammar-based lessons, PowerPoints. Think of like a standard textbook style of class. We do have that at time to time as well that we use. And then short story series. Basically, this is the reading-based class where we're trying to rapidly, as quickly as possible, boost up your vocabulary. This is the newest class format that we're still doing a lot of work on. In fact, a lot of these we're still developing, we're still testing. We're doing this in a very scientific manner. We're trying to see, like, if we do this, like going back over here, what we'll do is we'll take a class format. We'll say, let's do conversational classes, 10 lessons with this student. We'll actually track how much your abilities go up. Like, we're actually going to track it. So there's high accountability to make sure that what we're doing with you in class is working. Remember, I'm trying to guarantee fluency with all the classes. Very similar to a college or university degree. You know in the degree what the syllabus is, how many classes there are, how long it takes. You know, roughly speaking, that if you go to class, do your homework, you get the degree. Go to class, do the homework, you get the degree. Of course, some people get higher marks, some people get lower marks, some people fail classes, some people can't figure it out, of course. But by and large, when I was reading about graduation statistics in the US and Canada as well, at least those two countries, it's pretty high, reasonably high, especially if you look at people who are in their basically after their first year. It's pretty good, way better than the success rate of language classes, for crying out loud. Now, when we have a class format, we will also look at what holds students back. From what we can tell so far, there's 4 big things that hold students back. There's confidence, practice, vocabulary, grammar. We have a short list of strategies we use to help boost up those categories. Confidence, data that will show you data that shows you, we will walk you through data that shows you your level and progress. It's often very motivating to know that you're better than you thought. Encouragement, hey, you're doing great, keep it up. Conversational lessons, often just talking to someone more boosts your confidence because you just get more practice, right? Which we'll get to in a second. Grammar lessons, maybe you need to feel more comfortable and solid in understanding how the language works. Short stories, maybe you don't have enough vocabulary, which is why you're not confident. The second issue is practice. Well, we do conversational lessons, which is pretty straightforward, or using visual cues. So sometimes you might have bad habits. You need to practice breaking a bad habit. So we'll actually hold up a paper that has your bad habit written on it, right? We hold it up as a visual cue to even show you the bad habit that you're doing to help break that habit. Vocabulary, super low beginners. We tend to use super simple scripts. That seems to be working so far from what we can tell. Again, the super simple scripts is a teaching format where you basically have these semi-scripted conversations. And it seems to work really well for low beginners. Everyone else, to boost your vocabulary, short story series so far seems to be working quite well. And then grammar, this is probably the most traditional stuff in here, I'd say. PowerPoint style lessons, even conversational lessons with grammar tracking. So tracking as you talk, what's your error percentage? How often are the mistakes happening? Where are the mistakes happening? Why are they happening? Right? Actually doing an error analysis to help figure out what the problem is and to get to the root of it. Maybe a writing-based class and like correcting your writing, phenomenal way that I found to like help people improve their grammar. Short stories that use the grammar point being taught works really well. Mass translation exercises. I don't do this with everyone, but it sometimes has its time and place. You just like do a bunch of translations from English to whatever language or whatever language, English, your first language to the language you're learning, or from the language learning into English. No matter what we're doing, again, we have all these strategies, but the core point here is that we're always assessing. Every 1 to 4 lessons, assess. We need to be just making sure that the strategies that we're using are working. So that's what we got so far. I mean, a lot of this is a draft. I mean, to be fair, I actually wonder if my drafts are sometimes better than what I wonder if my drafts are better than what other people have as their full work. Sometimes I wonder. I'm not sure if that's fully true, but these are drafts that have taken like, I don't know, since late partway through 2023 until now to develop these drafts. So it's working really well. It's working pretty well so far, and we're working hard to improve them. And that's just an overview. Hope that was helpful for Calgary Language Nerds tutors and people going through training. If you watch this on YouTube and you found that insightful, amazing. In fact, I might even send this to new students looking to learn about how we teach. there you go. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.